My two favorite black writers today, writers you should know about, are Leonard Pitts and Toni Morrison. Leonard Pitts because of the story he did yesterday that we did something on, where they had a big headline in the New York Daily News saying white people have to stop calling the police on black people because everybody knows that happens all the time. He wasn't just talking about the Starbucks kerfuffle in Philadelphia. He was talking about white people all over the country reporting black criminality for no reason whatsoever. Toni Morrison is famous for the same thing. My famous quote from her is from The Guardian of London, where she talks about how she's waiting for the day that a white person is arrested for raping a black woman, because everybody knows that white people are raping black women all the time and they just get away with it, which is basically what happens in criminal justice system all over the country. So these white people doing all this crap, the cops let them off. Then there's all these black people getting arrested for no reason whatsoever. The Grio, representing all the big black websites, they got into the act this morning as well, reminding us that the only reason why white people are always calling the cops on black people is because white people are afraid of black people. Well, that is part of the biggest lie of our generation, the biggest hoax of our lifetime, the hoax of black victimization. That's what we expose here every day. Also in my books, Don't Make the Black Kids Angry and White Girl Bleed a Lot. And so when we hear about white people calling the cops on black people for no reason whatsoever, I mean, all anybody on this channel here has to say is, hey, you ought to see Colin's email box just for one day, because then you see totally insane stories about black criminality and denial and violence just like this.
I want to ask, what do you want from us? I get you want money, but you come back and back. My parents worked so hard for money to support us for a future in the college. Yet you come back, and this time you not only want money, but you took a life from us. You took my father's life. And
the same thing equally take wife life, two kids' life.
It just broke our whole entire family. I don't have a dad anymore.
I don't have no family anymore.
She doesn't have a husband.
I don't know how to take care of two of my kids by myself.
She can't support the family without my dad. My dad was a big part of the family, and without him, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what my mom's gonna do. What if this happened to your family? What if your mom or dad died because someone took their life? How would you feel?
With murder, sexual battery, 18-year-old man already in jail, now charged with murder, sexual battery, and burglary. Antoine Sanders is accused of raping and killing a 58-year-old woman found dead last February. DNA led deputies to Sanders. News 5's Bryant Clerkley joins us now live out front of Sanders' home on Arrowhead Road with more details. Bryant?
Yes, Roseanne, this is the home that 18-year-old Antoine Sanders used to live in, and he's accused of killing and raping 58-year-old Susan Midyett, who lived about 2 streets over, and deputies say that he stalked his victims, mostly white women. This is the mugshot of 18-year-old Antoine Sanders. Deputies accuse him of raping and strangling 58-year-old Susan Midyett, who lived on the next street over. Deputies say Sanders burglarized several other places in the area. One of those homes was Nick Bibbery's. He says the suspect stole his car full of music equipment last November.
I was running sound for Frank Brown International Songwriters Festival and volunteering my time to do that, and just loaded all of my gear up and Antoine stole it all.
Investigators say Sanders would stalk his victims, mostly white women over the age of 50. Bibbery says that does not surprise him. He says he used to live next to Sanders and he stole from him at his old house as well. He says Sanders would terrorize the neighborhood, especially the women.
We all had our suspicions, especially after a friend of mine, Tina Morrison, after he, threw a brick through her house and tried to assault her, it seemed like, and she luckily was, I have a gun in here, and he took off.
Now, authorities initially thought Midyet's death was due to natural causes, but their investigation led them to believe it was a homicide.
And Susie, this story is heartbreaking. It's really the unthinkable. As you said, we spoke with the family of this victim. They were too distraught to go on camera, absolutely stunned by what happened. Here's what unfolded. The man was inside that restaurant that you see on your screen. He was eating with his daughter and his wife. His little daughter was on his lap when a man walked in off the promenade and stabbed him in the neck. Anthony Mealy's mother posted this photo on Facebook this afternoon asking for prayers for her son. Tonight in her updated post, she wrote, "Thank you for your prayers. My son Anthony did not make it. Just unbelievable." Police say Mealy was with his wife and 5-year-old daughter here at Aloha Steakhouse in Ventura last night along the city's oceanfront promenade when he was stabbed. Investigators say Mealy was at a table finishing dinner in the restaurant when they say this man, Jamal Jackson, suddenly and randomly walked up to Mealy and stabbed him in the neck. Mealy's 5-year-old daughter was in his lap.
My thoughts are with him and his wife and child.
Folks who frequent the restaurant and the area were stunned by the news, although folks here say there are concerns about the homeless population here.
Who would have thought someone there with his wife and child, just having a dinner, completely unaware of anything going on?
Police on patrol in the area raced to the scene when this happened. They found Jackson, who was homeless, on the beach and arrested him without any struggle. Officers say right now they are trying to figure out what triggered this attack and whether alcohol or drugs were a factor. For Mealy's heartbroken family, they told us off camera they are just barely coming to terms with the news of his death.
It's just no words.
There's another story. I think this was down in North Carolina. He just caught a few more of the fellas who killed a white guy for basically no reason whatsoever. Should we call the cops on that? And here's a story about 4 black women that went in and beat the hell out of a pregnant white teacher at a school after school. See, the school thing, not calling the cops, has been a big thing in schools for like 8 years. Because everybody knows that black people, white teachers are picking on black people for no reason whatsoever. And so the only reason that black people are suspended and expelled more often than white students is because of the white racism and the institutional racism in the schools. That's why we have to stop calling cops when black people in school break the law. Capiche? And here's a little argy-bargy, the kind we could see every day if we so chose.
I'm talking to you, period. But go sit down then. Who gonna move me? Who gonna move me? I don't know. Oh, okay. No, you are. Obviously, I didn't put my hands on you. Hey, what's going on? Why is this going? Man, because black bitches don't know how to. Whoa.
That's the sandals.
Like you. Shut the fuck up.
Here's some more argy-bargy out of Minneapolis. This is out of a bus driver. We've been seeing a lot of these lately. Ever talk to a bus driver? A bus driver will tell you this could happen to him every single day. This ridiculous level of black on white hostility and violence. This old Mexican dude, all he wanted to do was run a restaurant and feed his family. So one of the fellas came in a couple weeks ago, shot him, almost killed him. Now he's coming back. That's what this story is about.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. Well, I was kind of nervous, but as soon as I walk in, I see all my people, all the support that I've been given, they give me more strength, and they give me strength to come in, and I'm happy to be here. Well, because I say whatever happened a while back, I say myself, I gotta confront my building, and no matter what, someday I gotta be here, so I say myself, I might as well start now. My problem ain't gonna be a long process, and I'm gonna be coming in once in a while, to support all my guys and, to tell that I'm here. But, to be here permanent, it's ain't gonna be a while.
So you're not giving up faith?
No, I'm not. No, I don't have no days. So, a little bit at a time, and we'll see what happens. God knows,
Why don't we do something we normally don't do that much? Why don't we run up to Toronto, where one of the fellas here, he was arrested for assaulting 5 white women in 4 hours, or was it 4 white women in 5 hours? I don't know, but they're calling this black on white attack, they're calling them random. They're random. The important thing we have to remember about Pitts and Toni Morrison, they're smack dab in the middle of the spectrum of black and white hostility. They're probably even a little bit to the shy side of the middle of the spectrum. We're here, it's like, over on this side of the spectrum, not many people over there. It's like, okay, white people and black people should get along. I'm okay with white people, blah, blah, blah. Over here, where we see a lot more people, where we see this common mainstream black and white hostility every day in lots and lots of places. But when we see this reflected in the minds of the writings of a Nobel Prize winner and a Pulitzer Prize winner, like Morrison and Pitts, then we really have to sit up and pay attention. That's mainstream. This is the kind of thing that an enormous number of black people have internalized, have made part of their DNA. That white people are just getting away with all this crap while cops are picking on black people for no reason whatsoever. Well, here's the reason whatsoever we just saw, which is that black criminality is wildly out of proportion. That's what we talk about here. That's what we're going to keep talking about here. Even if it makes Toni Morrison, Leonard Pitts, the griot, the root, and other black kids angry.